Hello, my friends. I'm doing another Angry Joe vlog, just giving you an update on what's going on behind the scenes here. Obviously, I'm working on my Metal Gear Rising Revengeance review, and it's gonna take just a little bit longer because I put it on hold for the big event that just happened. The PlayStation 4 has been announced. What? I mean, honestly, it's a little bit earlier than I was expecting. I thought that maybe all this shit would be out by 2014, but no, this shit is coming. It's coming holiday 2013, so I guess there's no real point in me buying a PS3 anymore. I mean, so obviously, if you know me or follow my tweets on Twitter, you know that I went to the PlayStation event last year at E3, and I was fully expecting to buy a PlayStation 3. Now, I've been wanting to buy one for a while. However, I said I'll buy one for the exclusives, The Last Guardian and Final Fantasy VII Versus. Obviously, I know how to pick them because those games have already come out and they were wonderful. No, they haven't come out. Where the fuck are they? Are they still PS3 exclusives, or are they going over to PS4? I don't know what's going on with them. So that's why I was holding out. But now that the PS4 is announced, there doesn't really seem to be much point for me to get a PS3 anymore. Might as well just save that cash, save the cash that I've been holding on to, and transfer it over to the PS4 in the holiday. So let's talk a little bit about the PS4 announcement. I've been going through sort of the 2-hour pieces of footage, and I have here a lot of my thoughts regarding the console. So right away, let's talk about how essentially the whole conference was about, in my opinion, Sony sort of apologizing for, you know, because 7 years ago you had Kaz basically say, the next generation does not start until we say it does. You know, there's something along those lines. Like, they are the ones who dictate to us what next gen is. But this conference was a much different Sony. It was almost like a realization that the PS3 with the cell processor probably made a few mistakes, in that it was harder to develop for you know, developers, and it was costly to develop for, and, you know, basically the system architecture and a lot of stuff like that, including the you know, PlayStation Network kind of looking shitty and stuff like that. So this year it seemed as if it was all about, you know, consumer focused, you know, let's focus, instead of the living room, let's focus on the gamer, is what they were saying, and also make it extremely developer friendly, which is a really big positive. And it sort of makes me excited that Sony is sort of changing their position here and saying, look, we want to be the most open company. There was a lot of hints dropped all throughout the conference that they were going to make the system, you know, open and easier to self-publish for. However, it realized that Wii U has self-publishing. In fact, you can set your own prices there. But Sony wants to jump into that and make it a lot easier to develop games. And in that respect, Microsoft or not Microsoft, but Sony and Nintendo seem to have the edge over Microsoft, even though Microsoft is the one that had, with the Xbox, sort of the grip on that, ease to develop and, you know, the whole Xbox Live Arcade. But after time, it's turned out that Microsoft has become draconian with the Xbox Live Arcade. I've talked with a lot of developers. There's been a lot of horror stories over trying to get their titles on Xbox Live. Basically, the bureaucracy and the cost. So this is now a negative on Microsoft's part. So unless they start to open that up a little bit more and rethink that strategy, Sony and Nintendo are going to have the edge there on Microsoft. And especially, you know, Microsoft's policy on Xbox Live and, you know, the whole, well, can we do MMOs? No, we don't want to do MMOs, or maybe a free-to-play model versus, you know, our Xbox Live where you have to pay monthly. So that is something I'm really interested to see from Microsoft, but we have to give the nod to Sony right there, you know, basically from what they've said. So anyway, let's get into some of the details on the actual console. Basically, it's an optimized PC, okay? So if you're a PC gamer, you have nothing to fear. I mean, pretty much, if you build a gaming rig, it's gonna be better than a PlayStation 4, just as good as a PlayStation 4, or, you know, presumably the next Xbox next. So PC gaming has nothing to fear. You know, if you enjoy, if you're a PC elitist, part of the super race or whatever the hell you guys call yourself, which I'm a PC gamer. You know, I got a nice PC. I had to get one for editing. And to be honest, it's been a lot easier to do my show on the PC with, you know, programs like Fraps and DxTory and stuff like that. So I've been kind of moving away from consoles a little bit myself. But let me get back to this. So it's an x86 core. It has 1.84 teraflops, okay, and 8 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. Now this was the surprise of the conference. A lot of people thought it would be 4 gigabytes and DDR3, but it's 8 gigabytes and DDR5, which is an expensive, a pretty expensive investment for Sony to make. Basically, to you know, sort of give you an idea, the you know, one of the best NVIDIA chips out there, like a graphics cards at like $1,000. The GeForce Titan offers just 6 megabytes of DDR5, and so that's pretty awesome. And it said that the next Xbox is only going to offer 8 gigabytes of DDR3, so it seems like Sony might have the edge there. Of course, those leaked specs of the Xbox or Durango was 9 months ago, so Microsoft still has time to upgrade, or maybe they've made changes since then. But basically, to give you some idea of the chips and the processor and the power difference, most generations, when you go to the next generation, it's 6 to 8 times more powerful. But when you're factoring in RAM, and you're talking about RAM, this next generation, this PlayStation 4, is going to be about 16 times the power of what we have now. So they're definitely built to last. Now, what does that actually translate into what you can see with your eyes and what the developers have gotten used to creating? As you can see with some of the games demoed, nothing really blew us away there. I mean, I think the most impressive one they had was sort of, you know, Killzone, Shadow Falls or something like that. And, you know, to be honest, if you put it side by side with like a fully fleshed out Crysis 2 or Crysis 3, it's not all that much better. Of course, I was watching a terrible Ustream of the service, so it might have looked a little bit better than what I saw. But let's get into, I wrote a little list here, okay, of all the stuff. Number 1, suspend and resume. Hit a power button and you're playing in the exact spot you left off. That's cool. Not exactly a system seller, I mean, but it's cool. Immediacy. Everything's now. I want it now. Yeah, you know. So I don't know if that speaks well to our society these days, but it's there and it'll be enjoyable. You can download games in the background with your main power off on the system. That is cool. I like that. Your system needs to be doing shit that you want to do next after you're done playing. So downloading games in the background, perfect. Love it. Love it. Play games as they're being downloaded. This is something that maybe taps into the Gaikai technology. And it's cool, but it's not necessarily going to be for every single game, because your developers have to take that into account when they do that shit and when they release the game, because I don't think it's just available for every single one. So we'll have to see what games support that. Also, it has a redesigned interface, of course. It's PS4, not PS3. And to be honest, the PS3 interface was terrible. I would go right across the street to my friend Angel's house. You've seen him in some of the Deus Ex reviews as the gangster guy that beats me up. Yeah, I go over there and I'm like, this interface looks bare bones. It looks terrible. But now it pretty much is going the other way. It looks good, looks clean, elegant, simple. However, it looks very Xboxy, so they kind of lifted a lot of stuff there. A huge emphasis is the new share button on the controller. Your share button's right there on the controller. Holy shit! Something cool happens. I press a button, I can upload footage. Well, that sounds pretty cool, but also pretty annoying. And it really depends on how it's implemented, and that's something that we're going to have to see. Now, the cool side first, okay? It's got like this sort of, you know, in-system, you know, channel where you're playing gameplay, you got a chat window, and that's cool. And as you play, you can see comments pop up on your screen, so you can have like an audience, and, you know, your audience can tell you how to get through sections of the game. You can have fun together. That shit is cool. And if you look on the buttons there, you see, you've got, command, which, in a certain feature, you could take over their controller. So if you suck at the game and you can't beat it, I can call up TB or, Dodger or whoever and ask them to, finish a level for me. That's kind of cool in the sense that it's, we're putting on a live show or whatever. I don't know how often it's going to be used by gamers, but it's there if you want it. You would think that the Let's Play community on YouTube would be all over this. PlayStation's like, wow, look at this community. Call of Duty is everywhere on YouTube. Let's take advantage of this and have them do it within the console. Now, that may sound like a good idea to them, but was it well thought through? Think about it. Did they even ask any Let's Players or anybody that provides that kind of content what exactly they need, what their processes are, and how this PlayStation thing is going to figure into their workflow? I don't think so. I think this is more a casual type thing. Hey, share this shit. And what it's going to turn into, really, in my opinion, is show off all the glitches, bugs, exploits in the game. It's going to be a developer's nightmare and embarrassing. Because a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the Let's Players, they do a little bit of post-editing. They want to record the footage, get a file, throw it in an editing program that they know how to use and, create highlight clips, do post-commentary, a lot of things like that. Then be able to embed it into YouTube, their various websites, using embed codes. We have no idea whether this PlayStation system is going to be able to do that. So whether it's going to be used by popular Let's Players, I have no idea. I mean, it seems perfect for it, but it uses the Ustream service, which is not exactly as good as Twitch TV. I mean, as you saw as they were streaming the Sony event, it was like friggin' lagging out for me at least. Think about it. You're going to be using the service, you're going to be uploading and live streaming and all that stuff through Sony's channels. So, are they going to put ads on your stuff? Are they going to put annoying ads on your live stream? Are they going to charge you a subscription service? Oh, Xbox Live is doing it. Look what we're offering. Finally, we can charge you. I don't quite know. Or for, popular Let's Players and YouTubers who try to make as much content and as high quality content as possible a lot, are you going to be able to share in the revenue? Say you're really good at a game or you find some tactic and you share with everybody. Will you be able to share in the benefit to keep doing that? Or is Sony just going to take all the revenue share for that? All that stuff needs to be figured out, along with whether or not it actually downloads a file of some sort and puts it somewhere, allowing you to take it. If that's the case, boy, that hard drive on PS4 is going to have to be huge, massive. But that they haven't even said how big the hard drive is going to be. It would have to at least be like at least 500 gigabytes. But if you're doing that kind of stuff where it's downloading files and putting files on the actual system hard drive, you're going to be talking about needing at least, a terabyte or more. But that remains to be seen. So don't get too happy about this share feature on your controller. Okay, apps on smartphones and tablets for the PlayStation Network. Yeah, that's expected. If you didn't bring that to the table, you'd be pretty lame. And then they talked about the Gaikai acquisition, which is pretty big. When you buy something, your friends know immediately when you buy it. You could try anything now, supposedly. Instant access to any game on the PlayStation Store. Obviously, you could spectate games. Director status. This is one that was really weird because it wasn't fleshed out with a game, but it was basically like they can go into your game, change the way the level works, or give you power-ups, or help you cheat, basically, at the game. And I didn't like that idea, and that's only really if developers use the director status thing. You can schedule set times to broadcast your gameplay, so if you forget that you have a show, or whatever, I guess it just starts broadcasting as you're playing, so you could be picking your nose and eating your boogers. I don't know what you're going to be doing, but make sure that you know that your PlayStation 4 is going to wake up and start recording your ass, whether you're, jacking it or whatever in your living room. You better be careful with that, friggin' set time to broadcast automatically. There's also remote play, which is really interesting. It basically gives the PS Vita purpose, okay? Because we know PS Vita is not doing all that great, and this would really give it its purpose. It would essentially turn the PS Vita into, you know, the Wii U version of its controller, where using Gaikai, you can basically stream the power, turn your PlayStation 4 into a server, and your PS Vita into a client, and walk around your house and play PS4 games on the Vita. That is cool. That gives purpose to the Vita again. You know, the long-term goal is to make every title playable, but some won't be. So there's the restriction. And, you know, and then they kind of alluded to it. The technology's not quite there yet, but taking that PS Vita and leaving your house, okay, and doing it anywhere. You're playing PS4 games. That would be fucking amazing, but the technology is not quite there yet. That's why they were talking about we're going to be doing it in phases, yabba dooba deeba. We'll have to see what happens, but I think by then the PS Vita might not still be around. They talked briefly about the new PlayStation Eye, you know, augmented reality, 3D pictures are possible voice commands. And that's pretty much it. On that, and then we'll actually get into the games here and what they showed. But first, the negatives of the system. Number one, no backwards compatibility. Okay, so essentially, you're gonna have to find a spot to store both your PS3 and your PS4 in your living room so that you can swap between them all the time. And that sucks. And another negative is Dualshock 3 is not supported. So you're not going to be able to use your PlayStation 3 controllers on the PlayStation 4. You're going to have to use the PlayStation 4 controller only. So buying a bunch of new controllers is in store for you. And also, finally, probably tied to both of those things is that PSN purchases and, you know, the game saves and all that stuff are not transferable to the PS4. And so for a company that's all about, okay, sharing and you know, oh, your shit's available everywhere, anytime, here and there, you know, not letting you transfer shit from, you know, this to that is not really a good idea and not really something that that we enjoy hearing about. So you're gonna have to rebuy all that shit, and if you want to put your PS3 away, you're gonna have to rebuy all the PS3 games using the Gaikai service to stream to your PS4. So that is really the only negatives there. There's really no point in getting a PS3 now, in my opinion. You just wait and get a PS4. And you have to think about many ISPs have upload caps. Did we forget about that? Or what if you're way out in Australia and Gaikai fucking sucks for you or doesn't work and your ISP caps upload speeds? That upload button is completely useless for you. So, you know, it's not really a huge console seller. So if they're banging on this, you know, share button idea as their system seller, it may not actually work out. We'll have to see. Oh, and more negatives about the share button. It's like, you know, I hope that developers don't get too carried away. You know, first-party developers, Sony trying to get you to use the share button. Like, I mean, imagine you're in a medieval game and they're like, my lord, you have acquired a new sword. How about you share it with your friends on live stream? You know, it's like, whoa, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck is a live stream? I'm here in medieval ages, you know? If they start jamming that shit into games, it's probably gonna get pretty fucking annoying. So as long as they keep it optional, you know, we'll be fine. Finally, let's talk a little bit about the games that they showed off. Knack underwhelmed me, okay? It's made by the architect of the actual PS4 system, so you think that he would be able to get the most out of the console, or at least, you know, showcase sort of the first gen of what the console can do. But to be honest, it didn't really look like something that would appeal to me. So Knack, nah. You know, Killzone, Shadowfall, I mean, it had its moments, but compared, like I said earlier, compared with Crysis 2 and Crysis 3 on your badass PC gaming rigs that are possible right now, it doesn't really blow away anything that, you know, is already possible. I mean, it looks fun, it looks interesting, you know, I might give it a shot, but, you know, so Drive Club, Now, there's something. It has huge detail on the cars. If you're a car guy like I am, it's extremely impressive. However, I think it locks you into first-person mode, which is going to turn off a lot of people when you start limiting it like that. But to be honest, not many even cared to pay attention to it or listen to it because, I mean, car stuff, I mean, that's niche. It's niche, to be honest. And then you got the infamous reveal. It looked completely FMV. It didn't really look all that great, as well as Capcom's Deep Down, or about that name. I ain't gonna say anything about that name, but that also looked like an FMV. I was a little concerned though that they were trying to gearbox me, which is something that Jim Sterling had coined the term gearboxed, because it looked like it was an FMV, but they made sure to put a little, you know, interface here at the bottom, and no, that's not. I don't think that's gameplay. That looked like an FMV the whole way. So, finally, Media Molecule's presentation was embarrassing, man. It was confusing. It was full of bullshit. Never in my life have I seen so much bullshit. It was like, record your dreams. How? With the Move fucking ice cream controller? How? If you don't know how to draw and you don't know how to sculpt it in 3D, no fucking Move controller or PS4 is gonna all of a sudden make you know how to draw and sculpt, okay? And then what they started to do there, they started doing a little puppet dance and fucking whipping out guitars and fucking, you know, pianos, and now they're throwing a concert by doing these, and all the fucking puppets are doing intricate movements and shit. No! No! Bullshit! Don't pee on my back and tell me it's raining. That's bullshit, and there really wasn't much of a game there. So the jury is still out. Now, Media Molecule, okay, they have a good reputation, and I understand it from, you know, the Sony side of it. But, I mean, yeah, they're going to have their work cut out for them if they think that they're going to try to provide the same experience that we saw in that demo. And then Blizzard gets up on stage and we're like, oh shit, Microsoft is shaking in their pants. What the fuck is this? It's gonna be Blizzard's next game. It's gonna be Titan. It's gonna be some exclusive title with fucking, this is a reason to get a PlayStation 4. And then this.
We know in partnership with Sony that we have our game. So I'm very pleased tonight to announce the game that Blizzard Entertainment will be bringing to the PlayStation 4. Diablo 3 will be available for the PlayStation 4 as well as the PlayStation 3.
Fucking Diablo 3 announcement, PS3 and PS4. We're gonna be on the console. Yay! What you were all asking for. Every single thing you wanted, we're giving to you now. No! That was a really disappointing part of the conference, and I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh shit, I gotta buy a PS4. Some exclusives coming out for the freaking PlayStation 4 that I wanna play from Blizzard. They fucked it up. You fucked it up, okay? And then who else messed it up? Oh, then they had Ubisoft come on. They didn't mess it up. Watch Dogs is looking friggin' awesome. Cannot wait for Watch Dogs. Maybe the best version of it, since it's going to be on the next, you know, since it'll be on the PlayStation 4 in addition to the last-gen consoles. But then another one comes on, another disappointing one with Square Enix. They showed us the same freaking demo that we've seen already a long time ago. And don't mention anything about any of the games we wanted to see. Final Fantasy X versus, nope, no mention of anything of the sort. And yeah, they're just like, we're starting development on another Final Fantasy game. Wow, awesome. You really brought the big guns, Square. So maybe they're saving it for E3. So Square Enix, another huge disappointment there. I may be forgetting one, but I think then Bungie came up there and they had the Blazer Boys. I thought they were gonna start the fucking acapella or start singing, you know, Baby. What was the fucking song? Whatever. One of the NSYNC songs or Backstreet Boys. I can't even think of any one right now. I can't even. That's how much I was like fucking blown away by these guys who had no idea what to do with their hands. Just watch it again. It's real funny. They're like, oh shit. Do I move my hands? Do I go like this? I don't know. But they announced Bungie's new game, Destiny, which is fucking looking awesome. I mean, I think it looks, you know, the reason why I bought an Xbox was for Halo. And this new franchise looks great. It looks like, you know, if it follows the same really good polished gameplay that was in the original Halos and the multiplayer experience and everything so finely tuned. If they do that within the world of Destiny, which to me there's a hell of a lot more potential. You know, Halo, I'm Haloed out, you know, and I know that the Halo 4's out and people wanted me to do a review there and stuff like that, and I just didn't have time for that. And it's like, you know, in the world of Destiny, you've got multiple different alien factions, and you've got, you know, your faction, which you can customize your guy, and there's so much more potential. Basically, the art looks a lot better, and so while I'm not the levels of excited that I was in the original Xbox for Halo, I am definitely interested and intrigued by Destiny, and I think it's gonna be a huge title. You know, especially with this quasi MMO thing that they're talking about it for, you know, for the next 10 years, and you shape the story and all that stuff. So Destiny was a huge one, and they said that they will have exclusive content on the PlayStation 4. What exactly that content is and why we would why we want to buy it there remains to be seen, and whether Xbox might get its own exclusive content, I have no idea. But it was a little bit of a surprise since Bungie basically sold Xboxes, and now they're doing exclusive content for the PlayStation 4, which is a bit of sort of like seeing Metal Gear on Xbox. Now you're seeing Bungie on PlayStation. So stuff that we basically didn't see. We didn't see the console itself. I thought they were holding it to the end, trying to give everybody blue balls and be like, whoa, check this out at the end. Which is actually kind of concerning because the controller looks exactly like those leaked pics of the console. So if the console looks like that, then we're gonna have a problem because it looks like a mashup of like the Xbox 360 and the Sony PlayStation 3 like smashed together. Hopefully that's not what the console looks like, but you know, we'll have to see. That's something they wanted to save till E3. And finally, the price of the console. Now, assuming that, you know, PlayStation or Sony has really learned from their mistakes regarding the PS3, I don't think, you know, and it does seem like they have. They're making the system a lot easier to develop for. They're focusing on developers and gamers with all the social stuff and more open platforming type things. I don't think they're going to make the same mistake of overpricing it, you know, what, $600 or something like that. I really do think that it's going to be a lot less than that. If they're smart, it's going to be a lot less than that. In fact, I recommend, if they can at all do it, you know, no more than $450. You do $450 and, you know, it sounds good for all that technology you're getting, you know, for shit. You know, the GeForce Titan cost $1,000. Gaming computers are way more expensive if you want that kind of power than $450. So that would be an amazing price point. But we'll have to see at E3. We don't quite know that yet. I mean, wouldn't it be fucking amazing if, like, they said, fuck it, let's do it. Let's take a massive loss and do like $399 or do like friggin', you know, $350 or something crazy like that. Then they would pretty much win this supposed next console war, in my opinion, if they really sort of took a loss on the system and really bet everything that good games are going to come to the PS3 and sort of make a profit for them. But that's not going to happen. I think the price will land in between $450 and $500, but we'll have to see at E3, along with what the system looks like, which is really largely unimportant. It doesn't matter what it looks like, just what it can do. So, you guys, let me know what you guys thought of the PlayStation 4, whether you're going to get one, whether you're excited, and we'll all have to wait and see what Microsoft has for the Xbox next. Now, you know, I was talking with some developers and some head of a few companies, and they seem to think that Sony's gonna get out their console first. You know, they're not gonna let that same shit happen where, you know, Xbox got the jump on them at 360 and let that happen again. So, you know, there's some concern there that Sony might be rushing it a little bit, and then they might be the ones that end up with, you know, the red rings of death and all that bullshit that happened with the Xbox 360. So they're gonna have to be real careful about that, about not pushing it out before it's ready. But it already says holiday 2013, so that's kind of when I expect Microsoft to do theirs, because, you know, unless Microsoft is sitting on something really amazing, I think that for people who wanted to buy a console, they're probably going to go with PS4. But, I mean, we'll have to see. So stay tuned for my coverage of E3. I'll be asking to go out there, and hopefully I'll make it out there and do a lot of coverage there. But I just wanted to give you guys my thought on the PlayStation 4. Yes, I will definitely be getting one, and you will start seeing PlayStation content on my channel. You know, primarily it's been Xbox and PC, but with this new console generation, I am going to be picking up a PlayStation 4. So hopefully they'll have some good exclusives by then. Better ones that we've seen so far now. So I'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show.
Necessity of the life, the endless after all.